the northwest frontier of London. Have you ever thought how many people around here are actually at war with each other? We've got two religious lots of Irish, hostile African tribes, Indians and Pakistanis, Jews and Arabs, and some of the original British. Magic life for a copper, excitement, glamour, and for me, the start of an incredible story.
Oh, God, they sent Dangerous.
Blimey, a procession of coppers. What are you lot waiting for, the band?
Assessing the situation, Dangerous.
Waiting for me to get my head caved in again, more like. Where is he?
Top of the stairs, stock room front. He's a tough bugger. He threatens to burn the house down.
What about arms?
He's got arms with fists on the end of them.
Why won't he come out? I mean, what's he doing up there in the first place?
Plastered as usual. He drinks a bottle of rum and a bottle of whiskey every day, and I've told him if he's not careful, he'll end up an alcoholic.
Yeah, very likely. Have you got a bucket, please?
I have, and a mop. Will you be needing it for the blood?
No, just the bucket, if you don't mind. Thank you. What's his name?
Bright. Pomeroy Bright.
Pomeroy? Why are they never called Bill? Thanks. Right. Pomeroy! It's the police. Will you come down, please?
Up yours, copper. Up bloody yours.
I don't think he's coming down. All right, I'm going to go up. Now, would you make sure your stormtroopers are right behind me? Come on. Hey! Yeah, Pomeroy! Now, Pomeroy.
What are we going to do with you, Albert?
Just checking in to check out, Ben.
Hello, Dangerous.
Oh, naughty boy again, Albert.
Bit drunk, Dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Just having a pee.
And Salisbury's. Push off, Albert. Your landlady rang.
My landlady?
Mrs. Full James.
That's her, yes. Now what have I done?
There's been a theft at your lodgings.
Good God, I didn't think there was anything down there worth nicking.
Oh, I told you you'd look into it.
Yes, after I've looked into a drink.
A large scotch, yes.
Yeah, all right. This.
The lead in the charge again?
Yeah, that's right. Once more into the bloody breach. Actually, the eye's not too bad. It's my body. It's covered in coppers' boot marks. They had me knocked down and they run over me.
No, it's nothing new to see you come injured to the dinner table.
Seems to me I spend my life looking up in the face of somebody intent on murder.
You ask me, that's the only reason they keep you. When did they ever give you a decent, wholesome crime of your own to solve?
Or me, the last detective. They don't send for me unless there's nobody else left. Oh, incidentally, there's been a theft at our lodgings. We'd better get back there.
Theft at Ballyi?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Crime has got no class these days, Maud. Oh, Evening. I understand there's been a theft.
The antique brass bedstead from Mr. Shahidar's room. It's gone. Antique.
And I perceive that Mr. Shahidar is also no longer with us. Both gone.
And from the room next to yours. I wouldn't mind, but it's right next door.
Mrs. Davies, even if you and I were still living together, which, my love, we are not, you could hardly expect me to keep a vigil through the night in case a fellow guest makes off with his bed. It's not the sort of thing you cater for.
I thought you were supposed to be a detective. That's what I thought.
It's a general misapprehension.
Don't be rude to Mrs. Full James.
Oh, that's all right, Mrs. Davis. I take it from whence it comes. Detective. Priceless, that bed. Belonged to Mr. Full James. The late Mr. Full James. And you can put that rubbish away. There's no time for writing things down.
Green, Special Branch. Chief Inspector Yardbird's expecting me. Yes? I'll send him up. Good afternoon, sir. Ramscar. Cecil Victor Ramscar, aged 45.
I know him. Born here, baptized, went to school, joined the Scouts, and did his first bank robbery all within a couple of square miles. I nicked him many times when I was on the beat.
Well, he's been in Australia, sir, and in America, getting his fingers dirty. We think he's back in your manor, sir. He's gone to ground around here.
What do you want him for?
Well, we don't know, sir.
Well, that's a bloody good start, I must say.
We've got nothing on him, sir. Nothing. We just want him located and tagged.
For nothing.
Well, he's been involved in some fairly major league things abroad, sir, and he wouldn't have come back for nothing. We think he's joined a dissident group. For money, of course, not ideology. He could be the heavy in a political kidnapping.
Why don't you do it yourself? You got enough people in your office, surely.
It was thought better that someone local should do it, sir. Someone who knows his way around.
It was thought better, was it?
Yes, sir.
And who thought it better?
The assistant commissioner, sir.
Yes, he's probably right.
Well, secrecy doesn't matter, of course. It's clumsier the investigation, the better. Something to stir up Mr. Ramscar, worry him, make him break cover or play his hand early. Do you have someone like that, sir? Someone who might make a few ripples, someone not too subtle?
Get hold of Detective Constable Davies.
Oh, dangerous!
Oh, no, not this time. I'm off duty. What is it, Tibetan monk gone berserk at the Labour Exchange?
Worse. Yardbird wants to see you.
What do you suppose Yardbird wants me for? Gonna give me something spectacular to investigate? Like a murder, maybe? No, he wouldn't do that, would he? Not unless every other copper in London had gone down with typhoid. All right, Kitty, come on, out. Kitty, out! All right, to hell with you. You just have to miss Crofts.
Anthea Mary Draycott. 2 T's. Minor injuries. Hearing dangers. St. Mary's Hospital, not detained. That's your lot.
Is the old man upstairs?
He's gone home. Well, I've got something for you.
What?
Came up from criminal records this afternoon. Ramscar, Cecil Victor. Yardbird wants you to read through it and see him tomorrow at 10.
God, it's thicker than my dog.
Is there anything new on the arson case at the Catholic Church?
No, nothing.
Why should anyone want to burn a confession box?
Well, don't ask me. Maybe Father Harvey did it for the insurance. He was quite a lad, our Mr. Ramscar. A nice list of villainies, starting in 1959 with assault and theft of car logbooks, petty graft, and the last in 1972, suspected armed robbery, not proven. A whole wad of stuff. And a typewritten sheet dated August 15th, 1965. I don't know why it caught my eye, but it was a statement Ramscar made about a 17-year-old girl, Celia Norris, missing, believed dead. He gave his movements for the evening of July 23rd, 1965, the day she vanished. He knew Celia Norris because her father was a business associate, but he hadn't spoken to her for weeks. His statement had been checked and accepted by the police 15 years ago. So why didn't I accept it? Ben, you've been around here since the flood. Ever heard of Celia Norris, vanished 15 years ago, July 1965?
Yeah, I think I can remember that one. Young girl of about 16 or 17, going home from a youth club on a bike, I think. Just disappeared.
What, never solved?
Not a trace. Well, I can't remember it all, but I think they found her clothes somewhere.
Did we treat it as murder?
Not at first. They thought she'd gone away with a bloke. She'd apparently done it before. The whole thing fizzled out. Still on the file, though.
address and nobody ever found. She had spent what was almost undoubtedly the last day of her life planning her future. That afternoon, she was at the Youth Employment Office asking about becoming a nurse, after which she went home to Hunter Street and stayed there for a meal. At around 6 o'clock, she cycled to the youth club of the Catholic Church, where she met her boyfriend, William Lind. At 10 o'clock, she left there alone. Her boyfriend stayed behind for a sports meeting, and at 10 o'clock on a summer's evening, Celia Norris mounted her bicycle and rode away into nothing. To reach home, she would have cycled along the main road to its junction with Hunter Street, or perhaps taken a shortcut along the towpath of the canal, later joining the main road. Whatever she did, nobody reported seeing her, and the bicycle was never found. Her clothes were, except for her pants. A youth named Andrew Parsons was arrested in a public convenience trying to stuff the clothes behind the cistern. He said he'd found them there, then panicked when he read the papers and was attempting to put them back. There were pictures of her with her mother, her dog, and another taken at some fete. The blazered character was probably David Boot, the youth club organizer. And if you look close enough, he was squeezing Celia's left breast. They'd taken all sorts of statements. Her mother and father, boyfriend, couple of girlfriends, David Boot, and Cecil Victor Ramscar. Ramscar? I was supposed to be reading him up for Yardbird in the morning.
Yes? Oh, glad you can make it, Davies. Very nice of you to drop in. Where were you yesterday? At the pictures?
Day off, sir.
I've got some inquiries for you, and this is bigger stuff than you've ever had to do before. Much bigger. Seems to me you've been falling behind in the general run of things.
I had that feeling myself, sir. I thought I was being sort of overlooked.
I don't know, Davies. I really don't know. I consider you for a big job, but I don't honestly know whether I'm doing either of us a favor. I can't get that police garden party out of my mind. All those bloody raffle tickets blown all over the show. And by the time you'd collected them, someone had nicked the raffle money.
It seemed to go from bad to worse, didn't it, sir?
However, I'm always one for giving somebody a second chance. I don't suppose you've had a moment to glance at the Ramscar file, have you?
Well, yes, I have, sir.
Well, he's a very nasty number, that. I've known him ever since I was a sergeant in this division. Got his finger in every criminal pie, a real villain. Larceny, grievous bodily harm, vice, protection, every bloody thing. Mr. Ramscar's put bullets through a few kneecaps, I can tell you.
Certainly got a big file, sir. What's he done now?
Nothing. Nothing that our splendid special branch could prove. And they're the ones that want him. They think he's come home to this area, and they want somebody to track him down. And you're that somebody. You find him.
I see. Find him.
That's right. Get around his old haunts, chat up his old friends. Doesn't matter if he starts flapping his wings a bit. I'm going to detach you from your usual duties. Just see that I get regular reports.
Yes, I see, sir.
And keep the expenses down. If you have to go to the West End, go by bus. Not too much boozing in those clubs. Remember, you're not in the flying squad.
Sir.
I wish you'd arrange for our investigations to be outside of drinking hours.
Crime and tide wait for no man, Mod.
Don't mind me saying so. I can't see how any clues to this conundrum are going to be hanging around down by the canal donkey's years after the event.
Look, I just want to be sure of the geography. I mean, she could have carried the bike down these steps, gone along the towpath, up to the road bridge. Good night. You see, he was wearing glasses.
So?
There were no lenses in them.
Well, that's national health for you, boy. I suppose they dragged the canal.
Oh, yeah, they had frogmen and everything.
Oh, sorry, mate.
What? Oh, it's all right, don't worry. We just give us a bit of a shock. It's all right, give him his jump.
What are you doing anyway?
It's the allotment.
Oh.
Only chance I have of getting here. Time I finish work and that, just getting in a few veg.
Yeah. Good job you know where everything is.
All in nice straight lines. I've got my torch, but the batteries keep going.
You know it? Oh.
Tar, So,
You must have a large family.
You won a cauliflower. Well done, Mod. Here, Mod. Look at that. Now I've seen the lot. Fella digging his allotment in the dark and Father Harvey fishing. You caught anything, Father?
If I do, I'll have you as a witness to a holy miracle. I'm only seeking peace, Dangerous.
I was going to nick you for poaching.
Glory be, but now I never thought of that.
Father, do you remember Celia Norris?
Ah, Celia Norris. The girl was apparently murdered. Long time ago.
Yeah, 15 years. Well, we've reopened the case.
Glory be to God. That was when I first came here. A girl from the youth club, and they never found anything.
Well, her clothes, they found those, except her underpants.
Ah, her knickers. Yes, I recall that fact.
Do you happen to know where her mother, Mrs. Norris, is living now?
Yeah, yes, let me see. She's still in Hunter Street by the power station. She comes to church, sometimes.
Yeah, Father, Dave Boot. Do you remember Dave Boot? The youth club man, what was he like?
Muscles. All muscles. He did all this training nonsense. He really made me feel envious. I had a few muscles myself in those days, but I was obliged to hide them under my cassock.
You wouldn't have a bottle of brandy under your cassock?
Well, we better be going, Father.
Right, Joe. I wish you well with your mouldy old murder.
Well, it's not an official investigation. I'm just doing it myself in my spare time.
Like a hobby.
Yes, you could say that, like a hobby.
This one's been dead a long time. Cold ashes, Dangerous. Cold ashes. You might find it's better left like that.
We'll see. Good night. Mrs. Norris?
That's right. What do you want?
I wonder if I could just have a word with you, if you can, about your daughter.
Josie? What's Josie done?
No, not Josie. Celia.
Celia? Who are you, then?
I'm a policeman.
You found our Celia?
No. No, we haven't.
We'll have another look, then.
What do you want?
Josie, you're Josie Norris.
Right on, who are you? Saw you coming from our gate.
I'm a policeman, Detective Constable Davies. Your mum just threw me out.
Ah, she would. So you gonna nick the old man?
No, it's nothing to do with your father. It's Celia.
Christ, you haven't found something.
No.
Well, why do you want me mum, then?
Well, we've reopened the case.
You serious? I mean, you're not gonna mess her around and then just drop it again. She's had enough of that already.
No, I'm serious. I don't think it was ever properly investigated.
All right, I'll get to meet you. There's a cafe called the Ancient Lights, you know, by the new block of flats?
I know it, yeah.
3 o'clock there.
Okay.
She shut the door on you, I expect, because the old man's home.
Oh.
But she'll be there. Promise you won't screw her around?
Promise.
You don't act too much like a copper.
She was a good girl, Mr. Davies. She used to bring me flowers, and not many kids do that. They tried to make out she was some kind of prostitute just because they never found her drawers.
Don't cry, Mrs. Norris. Not in here.
I won't. It's not so easy as you think to cry, not after all this time.
Well, you see, I think that after all this time, people will say things they only thought 15 years ago.
People do change their tune. They're all sympathy at the time. Then the whispers start about my girl. One of them bloody Sunday newspapers brought the whole thing up a couple of years ago. Sent some bloke round to see me. I chucked a bucket of soap suds over him.
Hello, Dangerous.
Oh, hi. Celia went off once before, didn't she, Mrs. Norris? Now, was that with a man?
She didn't say. Just she'd been away for a change. I never asked after that.
Excuse me, Dangerous. I got 10p for a shepherd's pie. There's 70.
All right. Here we are. 50, 60. Right.
Bless you, Dangerous.
You know, they ought to do a tramp's pie for shepherds.
They all know you're a copper. You're getting me a bad name.
No, listen, I haven't finished.
Not here.
Mrs. Norris, do you think you could bear to go through the events of that one day again? I have read the statement, but I would like to hear it from you.
She was home in the morning helping me. In the afternoon, she went down that employment place about doing nursing. She come back for tea. Said she'd tell me about it later when she got back from that bleeding youth club. She never did get back.
You didn't like the youth club, then?
I don't know. Father Harvey never watched it like he ought to have done.
And, Mr. Boot, you didn't care for Mr. Boot?
No, I didn't like that one. I expect you've seen the pictures.
Well, the one of Boot and Celia and another girl?
Ena Brown. Well, as was then, she's Ena Lind now.
Lind? Lind, that's William Lind, Celia's boyfriend.
Well, not really a boyfriend, just a friend like they are at that age.
And he married Ena, Celia's friend?
About 3 years after. They got one of them council maisonettes now.
Do you happen to know where Mr. Boot is these days?
Finchley or Mill Hill or somewhere like that. Runs one of them sex shops.
Does he?
Suit him, it should.
Did they give you her clothes back eventually?
Police? Yes, I got them back. White blouse, green miniskirt, white socks and shoes. Like everybody knows her drawers are missing, everybody.
You still got the clothes, Mrs. Norris?
Yes, but they're hidden away. I'm not showing them to you nor nobody else.
No, I understand.
Can I have another cuppa? There's a place over there.
Yes, I could do one myself.
It'll go on expenses, won't it?
No, I'll fiddle it, make a profit. That youth who found the clothes in the toilet and took them home, do you know him?
Parsons, poor little devil. The police were rotten to him. But he didn't do it, Mr. Davies. Plays in the Salvation Army band now. Always nods to me.
What did Mr. Norris think about it all?
He was upset, of course he was. He just shows it different.
He's a friend of Ramscar's, isn't he?
Ramscar? He went off years ago.
He's back.
Back, is he? I thought there was something going on.
With your husband?
Ramscar. He always used to come around and mooch about when Celia was there. Always had his hands on her bottom, that sort of thing. But he'd try with any female between the age of 8 and 80. I must go. If you want me, tell Josie. She works at Antoinette's, that hairdresser's in the High Street.
Yes, I will. I'm sorry it's been so painful for you. I hope I can do something. Oh, one thing. Do you think Ramscar could have caused Celia's death?
God knows.
He was checked out by the police.
So was Jack the Ripper, I expect.
What's in the sale?
Everything, love, absolutely everything. Depends what your requirements are.
Well, I'm not sure what they are.
Oh, you lads do get yourselves in a state, don't you? Japanese ticklers, slightly shop soil.
Where's Dave Boot?
Dave Boot? Oh, Mr. Boot. He's taken his motorbike to the garage.
Detective Constable Davies. Get him, eh?
Stop! Huh? If the sheet exploded, you'd have killed yourself, stupid. Bloody thing to do.
Now I know what God feels like. Nice place you got here.
Yes, well, we fill a need. What do you want?
Detective Constable Davies.
Yes, Tarquin said, I'm Dave Boot. Where was it?
Do you mind if I sit down? I'm a bit puffed out after all that pumping.
Look, I'm very busy.
Yes, me too. Ever so busy. I wanted you to tell me about Celia Norris.
Celia? Celia Norris?
Yeah.
Christ, that was bloody years ago.
15.
Why now? The police went through it all at the time, hours of it. They cleared me.
Look, I only wanted to ask you if you remembered, you see. I mean, nobody's going to arrest you.
Well, I should bloody well think not.
There you are, Inspector. That's yours. I didn't stir it. Not with my fingers, anyway.
Look, I've seen your statement, Mr. Boot. You saw Celia at the youth club. She went off on her bike, and that was that. You didn't even know she was missing until one of her friends told you some days later.
That's how it was exactly. Yeah. I said it then, and I say it again now.
You see, statements are just sort of catalogues of fact, Mr. Boot. You know, I mean, I did this at such and such a time, and then I did that. They don't tell you how people feel. How did you feel about Celia Norris?
Feel? Nothing. Nothing at all. She was just a kid at the youth club.
You didn't fancy her then?
Look, I'm going to get my solicitor.
All right, don't bother, I'm going now. Oh, there's just one more thing. How would you describe her behaviour, Celia's, sexually? She was 17. Do you think she was a virgin?
Well, I don't know about her virginity, but she was full of it. You know what I mean? Flirty.
Now, that is a lovely old-fashioned word, Mr. Boot. Do you know, I think I'm going to have to write that down. F-L-I-R-T-Y. That's lovely.
Well, she was. We used to say they were teasers, didn't we?
Did we? Did we now? You know, that really takes you back. That does take you back, Mr. Boot.
Well, not me, personally.
Flirty, teaser, Celia Norris.
Yes, Celia Norris.
Why would you say that about her?
Well, because I had eyes. I could see what she was like, couldn't I? She had a good boyfriend there.
Oh, Bill Lynn. Good old Bill Lynn.
Yeah, that's him. Poor bastard used to go crazy. Those girls were all the same.
And Ena Brown, flirty Ena Brown?
Her as well.
Yardbird wants to see you, Dangerous.
And now?
He said when you came in.
Oh. Look, I had a file in here, a Ramscar. I shall need it for the old man.
He left it out. Evans locked it in the property cupboard.
Where's the key?
He's got it.
Oh, where is he?
He's in the charge room with some villain.
Oh.
Look, Mr. Evans, that allotment's been in our family for years.
But it's not yours anymore, is it?
Father and my grandfather had it, and I took it over, carrying on the tradition. Then I was on the sick for a few months, couldn't keep it up. The council comes along, gives it the
So
summer
you think
flow.
that entitles you to spend your nights nicking his produce?
He helped me. He must think I got it right.
What's all this, then? For the moonlight larceny. Do you know him?
You told me it was the only time you had because of work.
I manured that allotment.
Property cupboard.
Right. You're going to be charged, Mr. Tilth.
Yes? Ramscar.
I've been through these thoroughly, sir. His file.
They tell you anything?
Well, yes, sir. I've got a pretty good picture of him now. All I have to do is find him.
That's all you had to do from the beginning. I don't want you to write his life story.
Well, I've been making inquiries as well, sir. He's been in all sorts of bother, hasn't he?
We know all that. All kinds of villainy. I told you that at the very start.
Looked hot favourite for a murder charge once.
You think I'm pretty close to it?
Celia Norris. 1965. He got out of that one.
Look, Davies, we don't want your usual fricking things up. I sent you to find a man, not scratch about with bloody history.
No, sir.
I told you, find Ramscar. Get out and find him.
Right, sir.
And stop mucking about with things that aren't important.
Yes, sir. Important to me. Mr. Norris?
What if I am?
I'm Detective Constable...
Oh, yeah, I know you are.
Oh, well, I wanted to have a chat with you.
What have we got to chat about?
All sorts of things. Ramscar, for one.
Now, look here. If you don't stop harassing me, my missus and daughter, I'm going to complain.
Where's Ramscar?
How the hell should I know? Look, I'm clean. I haven't done nothing in 2 years.
You know why I'm checking then?
Oh, yeah, because our Celia's dead and nobody knows who done it. So don't give me all this crap about digging the whole bloody thing up again, because it's bleeding cruel, mate. It's disgusting the way you coppers go about things sometimes.
Did Ramscar do it?
Ramscar? Of course he didn't do it. Listen, mate. Ramscar didn't do it. Do you think I'd have kept quiet? After all, she was my girl, you know.
Mr. Norris, could you just go through the events of the day Celia vanished?
Oh, bloody hell. I saw her in the morning just before I went to work. And I didn't see her again. That's all. Told the coppers everything at the time, but you haven't done nothing about it, have you?
Well, we're still trying. That's why I want to see Ramscar.
Go back to him, eh? Yeah, this whole thing wouldn't be some copper's plan just to get it Cecil, would it? Using our Celia.
My next incisive interview was Ena Lind, Gladstone Heights, 7th floor. She looked quite attractive in the snapshot, and I wondered what 15 years might have done to her.
Oh, hello.
I'm Detective Constable Davies. Do you think you could spare me a few minutes, Mrs. Lind?
A detective? Oh, how terrifically thrilling. Do come in. We call this the green room. Would you like a cream de menthe?
Oh, yes, thank you.
That Elgar, such an enigma, don't you think?
Yeah, I suppose he is. Was.
Let me take your coat.
Oh, thank you. Would you? There we are. Thank you.
Did anybody see you come up?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, good. I mean, I just so nosy. It would have been all over the flats. Move, Limey.
I've never seen a green cat before.
Very pricey to get her dyed. Mind you, makes a talking point at dinner parties.
Yeah. Well, I suppose I'd better tell you why I'm here.
Well, I know I haven't been wicked. Well, not in a way the police will be interested in anyway.
You remember Celia Norris?
Oh, they're not still raking through that, are they? God, bit old hat, isn't it?
Murder's never old hat.
No, well, keeps coming up, and I suppose it always will.
Came up a couple of years ago, didn't it? In the Sunday newspapers.
Oh, that? Well, they offered me 200 quid. Oh. He went mad, of course, my husband. He's such a wooden bastard, you know.
No, I didn't know. Your husband, Bill?
William. He likes to be called William. See what I mean?
Yes, I see. Look, when you were all in your teens, he was Celia's boyfriend, wasn't he?
For what it was worth, yeah. She don't know what a lucky escape she's had. No, I didn't mean it like that.
Was he always so wooden?
Always. Even as a kid, he was a real prissy pants. Look, I've got a friend coming up in a couple of minutes. Claire.
Yeah?
We go around the West End together, you know, see the shops, take in a film and that.
Yes, well, I won't keep you long. I just wanted you to tell me what happened, you know, just as you remember it.
Well, she'd been at the youth club, and she was playing table tennis with Bill.
William?
Well, I call him Bill behind his back. Oh. A few other things besides. Yeah, so she gets on her bike to go home. It's about 10 o'clock, just getting dark. And nobody ever saw her again.
And Bill, William, he stopped behind for a football meeting, didn't he?
Football? Oh, he never liked football. No, he stayed behind for something. Probably netball's more like it.
He liked netball?
No, he liked to see the girls' drawers.
Oh.
Here, don't go thinking he did it. No, I mean, I've no bloody time for him, but he wouldn't do that, no. Not the sexual sort.
The sexual sort?
Well, she wasn't done for her money, was she? No, not Bill Lind. I mean, you are talking about a man who even now won't get in a bath without a pair of swimming trunks on.
And what about this man, Boot? Dave Boot?
Oh, Claire. Look, I'll phone you later at the police station.
Well, look, can we fix a time? Because I don't have to stay there, you know, if I don't have to. It's so miserable.
Well, 8 o'clock tonight?
Fine, yeah. Cheers, Ina.
Here's to Celia Norris. Well, why not?
Celia Norris.
Yes, our lovely Celia.
What does that mean, then?
Well, she was. Lovely. Nice little figure, pretty little face, suffered spots, but still pretty. Tiny little bottom. The boys used to love to pinch her bottom.
And the men?
Some of the men, yeah.
Like who?
Let's have another drink, shall we? I don't want to hold myself responsible.
Yeah, good idea. Now, about Dave Boot.
Dave Boot? You guessed.
I'm a detective. What did he do?
You mean who did he do? Who didn't he do? He had her, Celia, and me, and the others, most of them anyway. I mean, we used to fight about him.
And he definitely had sex with Celia then?
I was there, mate. I was there. I could do with another drink.
Yes, so could I.
What's the matter?
Oh, it's nothing. I thought you dropped off, that's all.
Oh, no. I was just thinking about it, you know, about Dave.
Ah.
Well, I mean, we was only kids, you know. We thought he was Mr. Wonderful. Celia and me, we used to giggle about it, you know, make out what we'd like him to do to us and that. And then one day he did it. Just like that.
Just like that?
Well, we've been helping out at this church fete, you see. And our Father Harvey had gone off to pray or something. And Dave suddenly puts his arms round both our waists. And he gives Celia a little pat on the bottom. So I bent over, you know, laughing, like, and I said something like, here, not one without the other, Dave. So then he smacked me too. And then all three of us ran across the grass, and he chased Celia into this club storeroom, see? And I thought to myself, well, she's not having anything that I'm not having. And, well, you know, that's how it was.
I'm glad he didn't do it in the vestry.
Do you want me to go on?
It might be useful.
Well, I think I'm going to need another drink.
Oh.
I'm beginning to feel the strain.
We all set?
Well, don't you doze off. This isn't a bedtime story, you know.
No, I'm listening.
Well, so there we were, in the storeroom. Starkers, not a stitch on.
And that's when it happened?
On the trampoline.
The trampoline?
Didn't half kick up a dust.
I can imagine.
And that was that, the first time. I mean, after that, it was sort of on and off, you know, not regular, just sort of on and off.
When did it stop?
Oh, after she'd gone. Yeah, he never did it with me again. Well, I suppose he felt it was unfair, you know, not one without the other. Did you find that interesting?
Most informative. And there were others.
Oh, lots. Celia and me saw him having it off with Roxanne Potts one night.
On the trampoline?
No, across the club vaulting horse.
He used all the equipment then?
Oh, he was a trained gymnast, was Dave. Right. You may take me home.
Oh. That's very funny. It really is a good one. Oh. Walk on your back. Listen, do you press the button, do you?
I want you.
What?
I want you.
No, listen, I'm not free, I promise you, you know.
Don't you like them? What's the matter? Not good enough for you,
Oh,
eh?
yes, they're super in, honest. They're really super. I can't. Yes, no, please, put them away. Come on. Ina! Ina!
Oh, come here. What's wrong with you?
Serves you right, you senseless Burke. I hope the bloody dog screws you.
Please, lady, don't put ideas into his head. No, she was kidding. She was only kidding. Calamities I was used to, but being raped was something new. And hardly the thing for a detective constable to have to admit. All I wanted to do was to go to bed and sleep it off. But the note on the doormat took care of that. The message was short and intriguing. For important information about Celia Norris, be by the canal bridge at midnight. Somebody was trying to help, and I needed help.
Now then, good to see you sitting up. I must say you look a bit better than when I last viewed you.
What, you've been in to see me before?
Of course I have. First morning, soon as I heard. Who did it?
It's Ramscar. His lot must have been.
You've been standing on somebody's toes, boy, that's for certain.
Is anybody feeding my dog?
I am. And the foul thing keeps biting me. Oh, your wife wishes you better. She says you'll come and see you when she's not too busy. What made you propose marriage to a woman like that?
It was lack of conversation. There was an awkward silence, and I couldn't think of anything else to say.
How's the Celia thing going?
Look, Maud, when I feel more up to it, I'll tell you exactly what I've found out so far. It's a lot, but it's nothing, if you see what I mean.
I may have seen something you've missed. In fact, I think I've done it already.
What?
Well, I was looking through the account of the Norris murder in the newspaper files, you know, in the Kilburn Times. Did you do that?
Well, yes. I mean, the press cuttings, they were all in the dossier. I read right through it.
And about the regular police patrol van that night?
Yes. There's a PC Fennell and PC Dudley, and they covered the High Street area and the towpath till midnight. But their report was negative. They saw nothing.
When you get out of here, have another look through those newspaper files. You may see something I think I saw, all right?
Well, can't you tell me now? Come on, Maud. Come on, tell me.
No, have a look yourself, boy.
I hope you won't be wanting sick leave, Davies.
No, sir, I'm back working now. When it's all over, I'll take some leave then. Let everything heal properly.
We're all very pleased. Very pleased indeed.
Good, I'm glad.
Well, these things happen to you when you're a policeman. And it's all good experience for you, you know, Davies.
Great experience.
And it shows you've stirred them up. You've got Ramscar worried. That's what the special branch are so chuffed about.
Good.
But for Christ's sake, man, why fall into their laps by taking any notice of a note they slip through your letterbox and then going it alone? Sometimes I don't think you'll ever make it, Davies.
Sometimes I think that myself, sir.
Now, listen, if you want to jack this in, you can. I'll put another man onto it. I was thinking of doing it anyway.
No, I'll be all right, sir. I've got a little score I want to pay back to Mr. Ramscar.
All right. And I take it from now on, you are going to concentrate on this and nothing else?
Yes, I am.
Like digging up old murders. Now, get your priorities straight. Go and find Ramscar.
Yes, sir.
Oh, hello, love. Change your mind about the ticklers?
No, only about Dave the Rape. Where is he?
Oh, you've just missed him. Early closing. You might find him in the car park behind.
Right. Hey! Hey! Sit down. You come here often?
Only when there's football at Wembley. The roads get too jammed. Where would you be going?
With you. Where do you live?
You'll have to see where I get off, won't you? Well, how's the murder? I fancy you getting involved in a nasty murder.
Shut up.
A grisly thing, murder, especially getting involved so deep like you are.
I'll arrest you and I'll drag you out the next station. I'm not kidding.
What's the charge? Being cheeky to a copper on the London Underground. All right. What's it all about?
Now, where exactly are we getting off?
I'm not getting off with a copper following me home and upsetting my mum. It's not as though you got a warrant or anything. And my solicitor ought to be present.
She means a lot to you, your mum.
Funnily enough, she does.
You used to go home to your mum in the old days. In the good old days, eh, Booty? Did you go home to your mum after screwing Roxanne Potts on the vaulting horse?
Who the hell have you been?
Roxanne Potts, there's a name to conjure with, eh?
Jesus, you've been busy digging them up, haven't you? Roxanne Potts?
She was 15 then, so was Ina, so was poor dead Celia Norris. Remember the trampoline? Davy go up, Davy go down. Davy go up, Davy go down.
Pack it in, you bastard.
All change, please. Elephant and castle. All change.
Elephant and Castle doesn't go any further.
But I do. Now, we've come such a long way together, Booty. I want you to listen for a while, and then I want to hear your story as well. And you better do it now, Booty, because later it could be much nastier for you.
Well, we can't sit here. This train goes out of service.
It's all right. We'll wait till they throw us out, that's all. You know, it's warm, comfortable, quiet.
Who's been talking to you, Ina?
Yes, Ina. Ina Brown that was, Ina Lynn that is. Ina would love to see big muscle Dave again. You could take the trampoline along, have a rare old time, just like the old days.
You can't touch me for that, Davis. That was bloody years ago.
So was the murder, and I could touch you for that. Now, you better tell me all you know, Booty.
Look, I told you, I didn't have anything to do with it, not killing her straight.
All the more important you tell me what you did have to do with them, because otherwise I might think you did do that nasty thing.
You've got no idea what those teenage girls were like. It wasn't a question of trying to pull them, they just came in and seduced you. All of which I told the police. They were moving. God knows where we're going now.
We haven't finished, had you?
Yes, I think I've told you everything, officer.
Don't you bloody officer me, Booty!
You're like all those police bastards. All for yourself in the end. You're going to do me over just because I made you look small.
No, I wouldn't do a thing like that, Booty. Not when we're having such a useful chat, huh? But I'll tell you something for your own convenience. If you don't think of a bit more of that story, the bit you left out, I'm going to chuck you down to the other gangway next time. Then I'm going to come and stamp on you because you took the mick out of me in front of all those people. Is that clear?
But what else, then?
The night, Booty, the night of July 23rd, 1965, that night.
We had it. 6, that is. Celia pestered me, they all did.
Rotten lot.
She kept on at me. It was her turn, she said. And then that night I told her to come over to the store after she told everybody she was going home. And I saw her there.
Why did you kill her?
I didn't kill her!
There. I said I could do it. Now, do you want me to throw you back again?
Oh, I had her knickers. I got rid of them after. But I didn't kill her, Davis. Straight, I didn't. She was all right when she left me. She went off on her bike.
Leaving you with the prize pants.
She ran off without them. We had a little dispute.
About what, Booty?
Oh, for Christ's sake, it was 15 years ago.
What about?
I wanted her to do something to me, you know what I mean? And she wouldn't. Suddenly turned all Catholic, said it was a sin. So I started to kid her about it. And she got as wild as hell. She slapped my face. I got hold of her wrist to stop her, but I was only playing around, really, but she took it all seriously. Then she kicked me hard, very nastily, too. And then she rushed out. And that's the last I saw of her.
Leaving you with her bloomers. Something to remember her by.
That's all. Now, you can make what you like out of it.
All those years ago. And you can still remember how hard she kicked you. All because of some little thing you wanted her to do. Oh,
You're only doing this to me because you never had one in your bloody life.
Look at that, it's pouring. We'd be nice and dry in here anyway.
What are you doing still in here? This train's in the washing shed.
Come here and keep quiet.
There, that's them. Look, that one's got blood all down him. They've been having a fight.
Well, no, we had a little disagreement, that's all. You know, we had a few drinks, but it's all right, because we're good mates again now, aren't we, Boot here? And we'll go off quietly, so thank you very much, gentlemen.
That way, then. And you've got to go right through to the end. And don't you be sick. Somebody's got to clean this train.
Yeah. Come on, me old mate, we'll wish these gentlemen a fond good night. Dear old pals, jolly old pals, always together.
It's a great life, I must say. Sitting here in comfort, drawing the dole, while the likes of me traipse the streets in the rain.
I'm studying. The world is enriched by study, not by tramping the streets.
Yeah, you could be right.
What can I do for you?
Dave Boot had a knickers.
Dave Boot?
Has told me everything. Well, nearly everything. By the time I'd done with him, I had him banging on his mum's door, crying to be let in. Not a pretty sight. The one thing he won't tell me is what he did with their pants. Says he can't remember.
Well, where are we then?
Where are we?
Dangerous. Remember what I told you in hospital about the murder account in the newspaper files?
Mud, I have been through the cuttings again, minutely. I didn't see a single thing. You were smashed again. You read the wrong murder.
I told you the files were in other cuttings. You'll never make a detective, you know?
All right, I'll take a look.
But not tonight.
Why not?
We have to celebrate those knickers, your first major success.
As long as you don't get in your usual deplorable state. Josie, what are you doing here?
I saw your car. Can we talk?
Yeah, why not? What is it, trouble?
Well, Ramscar's been threatening my mum.
Ramscar, where is he?
Well, nobody knows. He just sends messages. My old man's petrified. He's scared to go out. They know he talked to you.
Listen, tell your mum and dad not to move, right? You know, we should get a copper to watch the house.
Oh, no, that'd be worse. They won't move. Don't worry. I have to take food into them.
Well, what about you?
Oh, me? Ramscar don't worry me dangerous. I just tell him to get knotted, him or any of his mates.
All right, you just lie low, right? And just slightest whip of trouble, you give me a ring or anybody else at the neck, all right?
All right, dangerous. But they're not after me, don't worry. But I'll let you be a big brother if that's what you want.
Listen, you want to ride home?
Oh, better not. Maybe you'll take me out on one of your boozy evenings.
My God, anybody would think I was an alcoholic.
You'd be about right, boy.
7 men went to mow, went to mow a meadow. 7 men, 6 men, 5 men, 4 men, 3 men, 2 men, 1 man and his dog. Spot went to mow a meadow.
Do you see a horse?
Indeed I do. That looks like the rag and bone man's animal. It should be tethered. It constitutes a danger to traffic.
Why not tether it to Mrs. Fulljames's door knocker?
What a lovely idea. Hey, Maud, there's nothing to tie it on with.
Wait, hold fast a minute. Why don't we just push him inside, eh?
What a bloody fine thought. That'll give us some real cavalry. Come on, then.
If necessary, I know where we could get a genuine alibi.
Where?
Mr. Crust, Kilburn Times. He lives above the office, and you wanted to have a look at the files anyway.
So this really is a police inquiry then, Mr. Davies?
I just want to have a look at your newspaper files for 1965. Now, it's very important, otherwise we wouldn't have bothered you at this hour.
Of course, of course.
Well, if you just show us where they are, we'll have a quick peep and we'll be off.
It's all there.
Oh.
I don't want to pry, Mr. Davies, not in police business, but, you know, naturally we of the press like to know what's going on under our very noses, as it were, so perhaps if you feel free to do so, you'd drop a little hint of it in my ear.
Yes, of course I will. You go back to bed before you get cold. We'll close the door when we leave.
Right, very well.
Thank you. Right. That it? Come on, Mont, that's the cutting we've got in the files.
It's not a cutting, it's the page. Look at this little morsel.
Policeman's farewell. In honour of his retirement, Sergeant David Morris was given a farewell function at the local sturgeon rooms last week. Well, you know, it's a farewell drink for a retiring copper. It often happens.
Yeah, but murders don't. Nothing the same night. Look, it's the same night, Dangerous.
So what?
Well, read the names, boy. Read the names.
Those attending the celebration were Detective Constables Harry Robinson, John Cleaver, David Johnson, PC James Dudley, and PC Frederick Fennell. Wait a minute, PC Dudley and PC Fennell were supposed to be in the patrol car in the high street when she vanished.
Well, they weren't, were they?
But I've seen the duty slips and the reports they signed. They're all in the file.
And they were drinking with the boys.
So Dudley and Fennell lied for a start.
And nobody noticed the lie, or nobody cared to notice.
Did you put that horse in my house? Did you two do it? There's horses poop everywhere. Every bloody where. Up the passage, on the stairs, in the front room.
You better get the jumping sheet ready. I think she's going to topple out any minute. Mrs. Edwina Fennell lived in a caravan anchored in the middle of a field. Mrs. Fennell?
Yes? I'm Mrs. Fennell.
I'm Detective Constable Davies. I'm at your husband's old station.
Oh, that. Well, he's not here, not anymore.
No, I see. Well, I'd like to have a word with you if I could, Mrs. Fennell. Do you... Look, can I come in for a minute?
Wipe your feet, then. It's very muddy around here sometimes.
Yes, I expect it does. What's all this? Picnic?
Foxes. They come round after dark and sit and wait. They're so handsome. Well, it didn't seem dignified just to chuck 'em bits of food, so I do it properly, with sandwiches. They each have their own plate. Oh, you should see 'em eating. It's a lovely sight on a full moon.
Yeah, I can imagine.
What do you want with Fred Fennell, then?
Well, it's just some police memories, really. I'm checking on something that happened a long time ago, and I just thought I could pick his brains.
There's not a lot to pick. He's in the loony house, Mr. Davis. The mental hospital, St. Austin's near Bedford.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
He's not. He loves it. Every minute. He thinks he's Peter the Great. At least he did last time I went to see him.
When was that?
12 months ago.
Well, not since.
I couldn't stand it. All the horrors in there. I couldn't stand hearing him give orders to the old bleeding Russian court. I couldn't face it. I stopped going.
Well, I'd better be off then. Look, I shall probably go and see him. What shall I say if he asks when you're going again?
Tell him I'll come after the revolution. That'll do.
Morning.
Stick 'em up! I saw you. I detected you coming in.
Oh, yes, well, I've come to see the superintendent, Dr. Longton. Do you happen to know where I could find him?
Keep 'em up and walk.
I must say, you have been a great help.
I said walk.
All right, I'm walking. I am walking. Watch. Oh,
Good evening.
I beg your pardon.
Come in, come in. An intruder, Doctor. He wants you.
Ah, it's all right, Maria. I'll take over now. Thank you very much.
Can I put my arms down now?
Yeah, she's harmless.
That looked like a real gun.
Oh, it was. We've tried giving her a toy, but she wouldn't accept it.
Oh.
We've taken a few parts out of it, of course.
Thank God for that.
It's her status symbol, if you understand.
Yes, I see. I'm Detective Constable Davis.
Ah, yes, you're here to see Mr. Fennell.
Yes, I called on his wife.
It's a pity she doesn't come to see him. He misses her terribly.
Oh, well, perhaps I could go and see her again.
He's not too bad now. Without prying into police business, could I know something of what this is about?
Well, yes, actually, this is a murder inquiry. You see, Mr. Fennell was a police constable in the area at the time, and he had some part in the inquiries.
And you want to see if he remembers?
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, I'd be glad if you don't press him.
Oh, no, of course not.
Thank you.
No, I mean, I don't want to mess anything up.
Right. Good. Well, he's waiting in a small consulting room so that you can talk.
Thank you, Doctor.
Come in.
Mr. Davies to see you, Mr. Fennell.
Oh, thank you for coming. My dear friend, thank you for coming. Sit down, sit down. Sorry. It's so good to have a visitor. My wife stopped coming, you see. Tarantella never came.
Tarantella?
No, she doesn't matter.
No, come on. Because sometimes it helps to talk things out, Mr. Fennell.
Yes.
Oh, my poor Fred. I felt he was ill, but I didn't get a fix on a mental hospital.
You knew each other pretty well once. Well, so he told me.
Oh, come on, Dangerous. You and I are in the same basic business. You know he was my lover before you got here. Oh, donkeys years ago.
Well, he's not too bad, physically.
He's always one of those big, virile policemen, you know. I can see him standing in this room now, wearing nothing but his hobnail boots. It's a fine sight.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I liked him, you know, Dangerous, but I couldn't see a future for us together.
Well, if you couldn't, who could? Listen, do you remember a case years ago? Celia Norris, she vanished.
Where, that girl? Yes, I remember. I've still got her bicycle.
Her bicycle?
Down in my junk shed somewhere.
How did it come to be there?
Well, Fred brought it in. It was the same night as that Norris girl disappeared. I remember it very well, because Fred was up here. He used to pop in for half an hour, you know, when he was on duty. Because he used to patrol in that van with another policeman. And they'd arranged it so that one of them could hop off for a while, take it in turns, you know. Of course, he'd had a drink that night, been out on one of those police booze-ups, you know. Again on the quiet, because he should have been on duty. He was a devil in those days. Mind you, he only came up for a while that night, and then afterwards, he brought the bike in. It's been there ever since.
Why did he bring it back here?
Well, because he just found it lying underneath the wall of the cemetery.
The cemetery?
He thought someone had just lost it or thrown it away when they'd stolen it, you know. It was his idea to bring it here, because he thought if he was ever discovered with me, you know, he thought it would look better if I said I'd found it and reported it to him. Sort of look better. It was like a sort of safeguard for him being here, you know.
Didn't he realise whose bike it was?
No, of course not. I mean, by that time, when you and Gry was on, he thought it didn't realise it belonged to the Norris girl. That time he was too scared to take it back.
Tarantella, can I see it, the bike?
Behind all these years of rubbish, all my old clairvoyant props, trumpet, smoke machine. Packed that in years ago, gave me the creep. Oh, here it is, I can see it at the back. Here, can you climb across there, Dangerous? Oh, right. Tires are flat. They were there when he brought it. Just some chrysanthemums and a few irises. There was a card as well, but I threw it away. I think she pinched them from the cemetery.
Her mother said she brought her flowers.
Well, there's a bloke waiting for you, Dangerous.
Bloke? What sort of bloke?
Lind. William Lind.
Well, well. Mr. Lind? Now, what can I do for you?
Well, Mr.
Oh, do sit down.
Well, I understand from my wife that you're looking into this Celia Norris business.
Well, what was it, Mr. Lind? Bill?
Well, only this. Well, they're hers. Celia's.
How did you come by these?
Well, I found them. Well, straight up, Mr. Davies. The day after she vanished. Well, in the saddlebag of my bike. I just opened it up and there they were.
How did you know they were hers?
Oh, you can't catch me like that. Well, I used to see her down the youth club, like, you know, playing table tennis and netball and that. Well, all the boys used to have a look. Get a flash of the girls' pants, you know, like lads do.
Yes, they do. But you were her boyfriend, Mr. Lind.
Well, sort of. Well, that's not how I knew they were hers. Well, it wasn't like that. Well, I thought of her in, well, a pure sort of way.
Except when she was playing table tennis or netball, then you'd have a deco
Mr.
with the other
Davies, I didn't
lads.
come here to have you accusing me. I came because I wanted to help.
Must have been a long walk. It's taken you 15 years. Why didn't you take this article to the police at the time? You must have known they were looking for her clothes.
Well, I didn't know, not straight away. Well, because it was some time before they started to get really worried about her. Well, I thought if I showed them these, they'd jump to the conclusion that I did it. So I didn't tell them.
Where have you kept them?
Well, in my mum's loft. Well, I spend a lot of time at my mum's. Well, my wife's getting on my nerves, you see.
How do you suppose this garment got into your saddlebag, then?
Well, somebody put it there. It was a joke or something. Well, at first I thought she'd done it. Well, it's sort of teasing things she'd do.
She was a bit of a teaser, wasn't she?
Well, I didn't think like that. And I still don't.
Well, it's very gallant, I'm sure. Well, now, was there anything else, Mr. Lind?
Well, yes, there was. Sort of.
Well, what? Sort of.
Well, it may be nothing, Mr. Davies, but... Well, my mum reckons about 8 or 9 years ago, she was sitting in a bus shelter, and she heard an old man talking to a woman on the other side. Well, he was saying that he saw Celia the night she disappeared. Well, she was walking down the towpath with a man in a dark suit and no hat. Oh, and this bloke had his arm round her. Well, he said he told the police. Although a policeman came to see him, he never heard any more about it.
This old man, does your mother know who he was?
Yeah, oh, Mr. Harkness.
Is he still around?
No, he was more than 90 then. He used to drink. Maybe that's why the police took no notice of him.
Does he have any family around here still?
They moved. Oh, he was very ill. Well, to Bristol, I think. Well, my mum didn't know them very well. She just heard.
Yeah, just my luck. Do you know we're going to have to get all this down in a statement?
Did you know there are still courts in this country that can impose the punishment of the stocks and a journey in a cart of dung? Have you ever come across anything so amazing?
Frequently. How about those?
Good God, hers? Where?
Our friend Bill Lind. He said they were put in his saddlebag, and I think he's telling the truth. And you can bet your sweet life they were put there by Dave Boot.
Quite a collection we're getting. You've got a bike and a pants.
All we need now is the body and the murderer.
Listen, I've been thinking about those flowers. Know where I think she's buried?
In the cemetery.
Right. Somebody digs down under an already prepared grave, buries her, then another body is buried on top.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that myself, but I've changed my mind.
Why?
Because she was seen walking along the towpath that night with a man in a dark suit. See, that night, Maude, I got a witness.
She's a witness?
Well, he was a witness. He must be dead by now. I mean, 9 years ago, he was over 90. But he made a statement at the time, and it was never recorded. I've checked through the files. I've looked right through, and it's not even mentioned.
Man in a dark suit?
And no hat. So it needn't rule out P.C. Fennell and P.C. Dudley, for example. I mean, from a distance, the uniform would look like a dark suit.
And he could have been carrying the hat.
Or even left it in the van.
What's your knickers?
Oh, be quiet. I'll feed you in a minute. Right, good boy, good boy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thanks, mate. God, we've got to do something about your breath. Will it be my usual room? Hello, Mr. Norris. What are you in for? The same as you stupid Burke. I told you to lay off.
Ramscar as well, eh?
I told you what would happen. I hope they've duffed you up good. Ramscar's gonna nail you before you get in. And I'm gonna stay in here as long as I can.
I suppose a powerful police dragnet is at this moment in time closing in on the perpetrators of this latest outrage.
Oh, yeah, they sent a sergeant down to get all the thrilling particulars. My God, by this time they'll have enough men in the hunt to throw a cordon around a phone box.
I expect they're getting so accustomed to you being bashed about that the novelty's worn off.
Listen, Maud, I want you to do something for me. Would you see what you can find out about the Harkness family?
Harkness?
Yeah, they moved to Bristol some time ago.
Right.
Yeah, you know, Social Security, voters lists. Say you're a copper.
I'd rather not, if you don't mind. Look where it's got you, boy. Ta-da.
Ta-da. Oh, Josie, you've got a job lot to visit now, haven't you? How is your old man?
Oh, in a mess. Worse than you, and that's saying something.
Oh, I'm sorry. How's your mum?
Oh, she's got the wind up. It was she who found the old man on the doorstep.
Oh, dear.
Shoved her off to her sister's in Luton. It's got to stop sometime, or someone's going to get killed, and it looks like your favourite. Is it just Ramscar, or do you think it's got something to do with the Celia thing?
I don't know. Could be both. I mean, maybe they're one and the same thing. I don't know, the more I find out, the less I seem to know, Josie. Listen, do you think your dad knows where Ramscar's hiding?
Well, if he does, there's no bloody way he's going to tell anyone now, not the state he's in. Dangerous. Have you found anything out about Celia? What happened to her?
I've got her bike, Josie, and I've got her pants.
You've got what?
Her bike and her pants.
Christ,
Yes, I've even got the remains of the flowers she was taking home to your mum. She always nicked them from the cemetery, you know.
Oh, no, I'll have to go. I've got to think about all this. You sure? I mean, you're not having
I'm
me
sure,
on?
I'm very sure. See you, Josie.
See ya. You're brighter than I reckoned.
Oh, thanks. I surprise myself sometimes. It was easier to tell her I was sure. But the only thing I was really sure of was that I'd turned up a lot of stones and found a lot of wiggly things underneath. But none of them seemed to connect. 15 years ago. I followed every turn of the pedals from the youth club to the cemetery. I thought of her climbing the wall to steal flowers from a grave. And then what? Did the mooching police car appear? At its wheel, a P.C. Dudley, who'd been drinking at the farewell party? Did he get out of the car and stand waiting under the wall while she climbed back over? Did he see this 17-year-old girl was wearing nothing under her miniskirt? What did he do, that policeman? Did he take her into the police van? Not seeing her bicycle in the grass? Did he cajole or threaten her onto that towpath where Mr. Harkness saw them? Is that where it happened? Is that where he raped Celia Norris and murdered her? And disposed of her body, but not her clothes? It's funny that, not her clothes. And why did he hide them in a public lavatory? To be found by Andrew Parsons. Yes, Andrew Parsons, and now he plays in the Salvation Army band. That's what Mrs. Norris said. By the time I found his lodgings, I knew exactly what I wanted to ask him. Mr. Andrew Parsons?
Yes?
I wonder, could I have a chat with you? I've come especially to see you. Can I come in?
About Christianity, is it?
No, about Celia Norris.
Who are you?
Detective Constable Davies.
Oh, God, won't you ever let me be?
I'm sorry, Mr. Parsons. We all do things we get embarrassed about sometime in our lives. Me not excepted.
Oh? What have you done?
Never mind. That statement you made at the time, I've read it, of course, but I'd like to hear the story again from your own lips.
All right. I found her clothes in an all-night toilet.
I kept them till I realised they were Celia Norris's. I took them back to the toilet and I was seen by the attendant. That's all. The police came here and found some knickers.
234 pairs, I read.
I don't do that anymore, Mr. Davis. The knickers thing, it's all gone and I'm cured. I was younger then and I was lonely. Now, what with the Salvation Army and everything?
Now, look, Mr. Parsons, if you had murdered that girl...
I didn't. I swear I didn't.
No, I said if you had, and disposed of the body, would you have left the clothes in an all-night toilet for anybody to find them any minute? It doesn't make sense, does it?
I didn't do it.
And you didn't find them there either, did you?
Oh, God. I knew it would all come out one day. I'm trying to live it down. The army.
All right, now, no more bloody lies or you'll finish this down the station. Now, where did you really find those clothes?
By the canal. They were just lying there. I nicked them. But when I heard about the girl, I panicked. I was already on probation. They tried to get me for that girl, Mr. Davis, and I didn't do it.
Now, exactly where, Mr. Parsons? To the inch.
Yes, exactly. Just at the bottom of the alley, by the canal where the old wartime blockhouse used to be. I saw them, and I was tempted by Satan, and I picked them up. God, how many times I've regretted that weakness.
Right. Now, by the alleyway, right? That's near the gardens, near the allotments. Now, what time was it, and what was the date?
The day she vanished. At night, about 10:30.
Right. Now, don't push off to any band festivals or anything, will you? I want to know where I can find you.
Is that all, then?
That's all, yeah. Play one for me.
Good night, and God bless you, Mr. Davis. I'll pray for you in your trouble.
It's not my allotment anymore, Mr. Davis. Like I told him in court, the council took it off me after all them years. This is mine. I grew it myself.
Look, Mr. Tilth, this visit has got nothing to do with any of your previous dealings with the police. I just want your help. Can I come in, please?
Yeah, all right, then. Yeah, I'm just taking a few cut-ins. Messy business. So, what is it, Mr. Davis?
Your allotment that was down by the canal. Now, how far did your ownership go back?
Oh, back to the 1940s. It was my old man's before that. I told him in court, it's been our heritage, that allotment.
Do you remember the wartime blockhouse they built down the bottom?
Blimey, do I? We had our nursery beds there, then they come along and build that bloody thing.
Yeah, well, when was it knocked down?
A few years after the war. 47, 48, I should think.
Not later?
No, definitely not. My old man died in 49. He'd have gone then. I remember putting a shed on the concrete foundations.
Pity.
Oh, that part of the allotment was never any good for growing things. I could have dug the concrete floor up, I suppose, but underneath there was another room, you see.
A room? Underneath a room?
Well, like a home guard command post, like an air raid shelter with a metal lid, a trap door, like a manhole cover.
And when they knocked the blockhouse down, did they leave the other thing under the ground?
Oh, yeah.
So it's still there?
Still there? Why?
Come on, we're going down there now. Come on.
What, at this hour?
Come on, there's no time like the present.
Yeah, like I said, solid concrete.
Well, where's the trapdoor?
Inside. The bugger's got this place now. He's built a shed on top of it. Bloody awful thing. These wooden ones all fall to bits in the end. Just like I thought. What a mess. Oh, look at this facia, Mr. Davis. Have you ever seen such a disgrace? He's covered the concrete and wooden boards.
Yeah, good for him. Listen, where's the trapdoor? Where is it?
Should be here as far as I can remember it. Look at this jungle. Oh. Get the boards up. There it is.
Listen, we're going to need a shovel and a pick. Do you think you can find them?
Well, it'll mean breaking the tool-shed lock.
Don't do it, then.
Right-o, then. This place a mess. There's not an idea. Not a single idea. You better let me do this, Mr. Davis. I know the proper way. What with your face and that, eh? There should be a sort of metal ring at one end. Ah. Now, if I put the toe of the pick in there, we'll see if it'll shift it. It's good and solid. It's been fixed for too long.
Eh? Let's both have a go, right? Right now. Now, steady now. Next time it should come. Wait a minute. Right, another good one.
Dear me. That's bleeding done it.
Come on, you. You've got it. Loose. Let's try this wire. Get it in. Look at it. A minute. Right. Coming.
Now what?
Now what indeed? Have a torch. Oh, Celia. What a bloody rotten trick.
It's unbelievable. What did you do?
Just left her. Pulled the cover back, left her there.
Well, you won't do anything, nor report it?
No, I'm not going to risk it, Maud. I've got her, but I haven't got him yet.
It looks more and more like Police Constable Dudley, and he's dead. You'd think an underground room would have been searched when they were looking for the girl.
Look, for a start, nobody took her disappearance seriously for about a month. And we'll never know how thorough the search was. Supposing Police Constable Dudley got the area allocated to himself, it wouldn't be that difficult. And what about the policeman that went to see Harkness? That could have been Dudley as well.
There was nothing in the records?
Nothing. Look, you've had no luck at all tracing Harkness.
Well, I'm still trying. What are you going to do next?
Well, the first thing I've got to do is bring Josie up to date.
You won't tell her about the body?
No, I'm not going to tell her about that. There wasn't really much else I could tell her. She already knew about the bike and the pants. But somehow I had the feeling she wasn't really as perky as she seemed. As though there was something she hadn't told me. I was right.
Dangerous. I've
Yeah.
got something to tell you.
What is it?
My dad does know where Ram's car is.
Where is he?
I said he knows, I don't. I wasn't going to tell you. You've had enough goings over as it is.
What has he told you?
Well, my old man had a heart attack yesterday in hospital.
What?
Oh, well, it wasn't much as heart attacks go. But he was in a terrible state, got all confessional, started doing the My Dearest Daughter act, and after all these bloody years...
Yeah, and?
Well, according to the old man, Ram's car's up to something very big and very soon.
What sort of thing?
Well, I don't know, nor does he. But he seems to think he's got a good idea where Ram's car's hiding out.
Would you try and find out for me?
I'll think about it. I'm not making any promises. Do you want to come into the house? It's empty.
Do you mean to say you're staying there by yourself?
Oh, no. I'm with the Fieldings next door. I've still got our key.
Yeah, well, you better get some sleep. When this is all over, when it's finished with, then I'm going to take some leave.
And you'll take me too?
I'll think about it. When I was a boy, I was sent up to Stoke-on-Trent once. I've often thought I'd like to go back.
Oh, it sounds dreamy. I've still got a week of me holidays to come.
Hmm.
Oh, Stoke-on-Trent.
Go on, you better go in.
Dangerous! The hospital phoned me. Dad said that I have another heart attack. Well, I've got to go.
Oh, yeah, come on.
He snuffed it.
Josie, I am sorry.
Oh, I was Celia.
Come on, let's get a taxi.
Dangerous.
Yeah?
Ram's car's in Uxbridge. Something's big happening tonight. A place called Bracken Farm.
It was easy enough to find. I got the address from the local fire brigade. I couldn't wait to meet Mr. Ramscar. Nobody puts a dustbin on me and gets away with it. These sawn-off shotguns make a terrible noise. So if you don't want to go deaf, pass me a shooter over your shoulder, and very carefully. Where is everybody?
In a barn.
Right, we're going to walk towards it.
Look, if there's any shooting, mate, I don't want any part of it. I never reckoned this bleeding thing in the first place. The whole lot's in there.
Ramscar? Yeah. How many?
7.
Well, I've got this place surrounded by hundreds, right? Walk.
There's got the other bloke in there. The one they snatched.
Oh, so it's a snatch job. Who is it?
Dunno. Some yank big knob.
Stop. I'm going to make things very difficult for you, Sunshine. Kneel down. Hands behind your back. Now, no noise, or I'll shoot you. Have you got it? Got it.
All right. By all means, a dustman! Don't anybody move and they get it. I've come for you, Ramscar. You kick. Here, beat it. There's coppers outside. There are. Oh, just right. How did you know?
Some girl phoned it a tip-off.
Oh, good old Joseph. So everything's okay?
Great, except a bloke he just crowned with a shovel happens to be a bloody American ambassador.
Oh, steady. That's it. Good lad.
Ow. All right, dangerous?
Thanks, darling, yeah.
Oh.
Dangerous? I've been looking everywhere.
Why don't you try the morgue?
That old man Harkness, he's still alive.
He's what?
He's 101, boy. He's had a telegram from the Queen. His social services found him in Bristol.
That's fantastic. Listen, let's get down there now.
Be a bit of a push in this.
Call Father Harvey. Ask him if we can borrow the church van. Maud! Maud! You sure you've got a driving license?
Of course, I drove an ambulance during the war.
No wonder we have so many casualties.
Mr. Harkness was quite excited when I told him you'd telephoned. My father loves to talk over old times. And when I told him you were a policeman, he was more taken than ever. This is quite a big day for him.
Oh, hello. I'm Charlie Harkness. I'm 101.
I'm very glad to meet you, sir.
Yeah, well, sit down. Sit down. I've shrunk a bit. Yeah, they won't have to dig much earth out for me, will they? Yeah, well, I like my morning milk with a little drop in it. I'm supposed to be deaf. I'm not really deaf. I only pretend I'm deaf. Yeah, otherwise she keeps blabbering on all day. Yeah.
You fought in Zululand then, Mr. Harkness.
Zululand, yes. I was in that war. Not it did much good. They're all in Bristol now, you know.
You can be sent to prison for saying things like that these days. And Mr. Davies is a policeman.
Yeah, you're from the force, aren't you? Yes, I forgot that. Yes. Now, what are you after, young man?
Well, it's about something that happened a long time ago, back in London. Do you remember a girl called Celia Norris?
Oh, I know a few girls in my time.
Yes, well, she disappeared. In fact, it seems she was murdered.
Oh, that? Yes, I remember that. Yes, that's the night I fell in the canal.
What can you remember about it? Would you tell us everything you can remember?
Yes, I remember. Yes. Now, I used to drink a little drop in those days. I was a youngster then, in my 80s, I suppose. Anyway, that night I fell in the canal. I got bronchitis, pneumonia. I thought I was going to get my cards.
Yeah, Mr. Harkness, what exactly did you see that night? Did you see a girl?
And that night I was drunk as a monkey. I was walking home along the canal bank. A shortcut, you see. I was leaning over the bridge, looking into the water, see if I could see myself.
Is he all right? I don't want to distress him.
Yeah. You listening?
Yeah?
I'm just getting an interesting part.
No, I'm still listening.
Yeah, well, you listen then. Otherwise, when you come again, I may not be here. I may be dead and gone. You won't be able to get a sausage, will you?
Please, go on.
Oh, well, where was I? In the water? Yeah, I was in the bloody water. Yeah, I just fell in. That sobered me up a bit. Oh, it stinks too, that canal, doesn't it? Yeah. It was while I was in the water, hanging onto the bank, that I actually saw them. Of course, they couldn't see me. Who? The policeman and the girl. Here on the bank. I thought, blimey, I'm in luck. I ain't seen a copper. I mean, you never see a copper when you want one, do you? Anyway, then I saw he was kissing her. And he was pulling her away towards the allotment.
Where the old Home Guard blockhouse used to be?
Yes, that's it. That's just it. Oh, I forgot that. Yeah, I think they pulled it down by then.
Now, are you sure you saw all that?
But of course I'm bloody sure. I wouldn't be telling you otherwise, would I? I mean, I told Dulcie here what I'd seen.
That's true. A policeman did come to see him and take a statement.
Yes. Now, you're sure in your own mind that the girl was on the towpath with a policeman?
Oh, it was a copper, all right. I've been in court so many times for being drunk and incapable. I know a copper when I saw one. I even saw who it was. Well, you want me to say who it was?
Well, yes, please. That would be very helpful.
You sure you are a copper?
Yes, of course, yes. Here, look, here's my Metropolitan Police warrant card.
Oh, that's what they give coppers now, is it? Oh, that's a good idea. You can get into pictures free without expect. She got one too?
No, I'm not a policeman.
Oh, well, I'm telling you then. Go on, outside. Go on, you two. Go on, outside.
Father.
No, go on, hurry up. Here. I'm dying to tell somebody. I knew him all right, that copper. But he run me in many times.
What are you going to do now?
I don't know, Mud. What can I do? I mean, who's going to believe that old man?
Well, I'd say he'd make a grand witness.
Yeah, if he lives that long. If he can hear. If they've got an oxygen machine handy. Christ, Mud, he's 101 and the betting must be about the same odds. You know, a couple of niftier Germans by the defence, sharp draft through the courtroom door, and our witness is no witness because he's dead.
Stay put. I'll find somebody to help me get you out.
Not Mrs. Full, James, please. I charge you that on the night of July 23rd, 1965, on Canal Towpath, London, NW10, you did willfully murder. God, doesn't even convince me.
Mr. Patel's coming down soon as he's out of the car. There's a couple of letters for you.
Open them, will you, Mud? What's that? My knighthood?
Special branch. Superintendent Carter. You're getting a presentation.
Presentation? What for?
An alien ram's car. Got to be at the station 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we'll open the other one. It's probably cancelling this.
Frederick Fennell. Come and see me again for interesting news. He's drawn a picture of a girl's bicycle.
Yeah. Right, come on, off we go.
Where to?
Bedford.
Right, here I am.
I'm very, very grateful to you, Mr. Davies. My wife's been to see me. She came because you went back and asked her. I feel I'm a person again.
I must say, you look a great deal better.
I had to tell Tarantella it was all over between us, of course. I hope to be out of here before long, and then my good wife and I can start again somewhere. Thanks to you.
Yeah, what was it you wanted to tell us?
You don't want to hear all my personal gossip. Yeah, I've got something for you.
What is it?
A statement from P.C. Dudley. He's always a careful bloke, Dudley. He wanted to make sure he covered himself. When they started treating the Norris girl business as murder, he wrote down all he knew about it and sent it to himself by registered post. If it remained unopened, that was proof that it was written at the time of the postmark. See the date? August the 6th, 1965. Got me?
Yeah, very clever. But we can't know what's in it unless we open it, and that destroys it as evidence.
Right, but he made a copy. I've got that too, from a solicitor in Melbourne. He'd left instructions for them to be forwarded to me in the event of his death. It was about that time that I went off my head. You'll never believe it. I actually thought that I was Peter the Great. Here's the copy. It's about that night. We'd been to a party for Davy Morris, who was leaving the force. We'd had quite a few drinks, even though we were supposed to be on duty in our van. I sneaked in to see Tarantella, and then went to the cemetery, because that's where me and Dudley, used to meet up. On that night, the van wasn't there, but there was this bike lying in the grass. I took it back to Tarantella, like she told you.
Well, what did happen to Dudley that night?
Why, put it in the statement. You've got to read it yourself.
Read it. Go on. Read it. Well, it was all there. They'd gone to the police party. Fennel had left to see his fortune teller, arranging to meet Dudley at the cemetery as usual. But on this night, I felt so bad after drinking the rum that I didn't think I could drive to the rendezvous. It was then that Sergeant Yardbird offered to take over the duty for me. He had been drinking with the rest, but he seemed all right. I let him take over and went to a friend and had some coffee and a lie down. After about an hour, I felt better and walked to the cemetery gates intending to meet Sergeant Yardbird with the van. It was not there. I walked along the high street until I finally spotted it near the top of the canal alleyway. There was nobody in it. I could see someone moving at the bottom of the alleyway in the verge by the allotments. I called, and eventually that someone came up the alley. It was Sergeant Yardbird. He looked very strange, white-faced and sweating, and there was blood on his cheek as though he had been scratched. It is not until now, a month later, that I have begun to think that the state Sergeant Yardbird was in that night might have a bearing on the Norris case. This statement is true. Signed, James Dudley, Police Constable, S Division.
You've done it, boy. You solved it.
Yardbird.
That's who Agnes said it was, too.
You might just as well have said it was the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Well, your duty's clear. You've got to walk into his office and formally charge him with murder.
Are you kidding? You'd have me put in the bloody cells before I'd finished.
Where the hell have you been, Dangerous? The super's been here for 20 minutes.
I'm sorry, I had some homework to finish. Would you do me a favour?
What?
After the ceremony's over, when I give you the wink, would you take your boss into the CID room and just wait for me?
This is in the way of being a very private function. The implications of the matter concluded at Bracken Farm are still going on. Mr. Ramscar and others still have to go on trial. But I feel, and others do, that in a personal way, we should make some presentation to Detective Constable Davies. Official recognition of his performance may follow. That's not for me to say. This is our show. As you see, he's been severely injured in this affair, although I'm glad to hear that he will soon be able to walk again. I hope this small presentation from his colleagues will make up for part of it. I shall ask his own station inspector, Chief Inspector Yardbird, who has known himself the difficulties of working as a police officer in this district, to make the presentation.
Well, I would just like to say, I don't know what to say really, except thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Sir, do you think I might have a word with you in private? It's about Celia Norris.